The morning sun barely broke through the dense pines surrounding my cabin in Willow Creek, Colorado, when I first crossed paths with Vanessa Hartley. It was July 7th, 2026, and I'd been enjoying the quiet of my retirement, tinkering with the weathered cedar fence my grandfather built back in 1945. The crunch of gravel under designer boots announced her arrival before I even saw her. Vanessa stepped out of a sleek black SUV, her auburn hair pulled into a severe ponytail, her tailored suit screaming authority. She clutched a tablet like a weapon, her eyes scanning my property with the cold precision of a predator. I knew right then my peaceful days were about to become a war zone. "Mr. Callahan," she said, her voice sharp enough to slice through the morning mist. "I'm here to address multiple violations of Silver Ridge community standards." No hello, no pleasantries, just straight to business, as if my existence offended her personally. I wiped my hands on a rag, squinting at her. "Violations? I've kept this place exactly as my grandfather did for decades." Her smile was all teeth, no warmth. "This rustic charm might have worked in the 1940s, Mr. Callahan, but Silver Ridge has standards now." She swiped through her tablet, listing infractions. My wooden fence didn't meet the community's modern aesthetic, my cabin's weathered exterior was an eyesore, and my property was dragging down the neighborhood's value. Each word dripped with disdain, but what caught my attention was the date on her documents, July 1st, 2026. She'd prepared this attack a full week before showing up. This wasn't a neighborly check-in, it was a calculated strike. I kept my cool, years of handling high-stakes projects at DARPA teaching me to stay calm under pressure. "You've done your homework," I said, nodding at her tablet. Her eyes gleamed with smug satisfaction, but then she glanced at the oil painting visible through my window, a simple mountain scene my grandfather cherished. "That's a unique piece," she remarked, her tone too casual. "Antiques like that can be valuable, can't they?" My skin prickled. She wasn't here for the fence. She was fishing for something bigger. Vanessa handed me a stack of papers, official-looking with seals and signatures, and issued an ultimatum: comply within 24 hours or face legal action. "I have connections with the sheriff, the mayor, even the county board," she said, her voice low and threatening. "This doesn't have to get messy, but I'm prepared to protect our community's integrity." As she strutted back to her SUV, she tossed a final jab over her shoulder. "Some fights aren't worth picking, Mr. Callahan." I stood there, papers in hand, the weight of her words sinking in. This wasn't about community standards, it was personal, and I was determined to find out why. That night, I couldn't sleep. Vanessa's interest in the painting gnawed at me. It was a family heirloom, nothing special to outsiders, or so I thought. I paced the cabin's creaky floors, the same ones my grandfather, Patrick Callahan, had walked. He'd been a meticulous man, a former Army intelligence officer who planned for every contingency. The idea that he'd leave me vulnerable to someone like Vanessa didn't add up. At dawn, I decided to dig deeper, starting with his old bedroom. On his dresser sat a carved oak box, its intricate knotwork hinting at secrets. Inside, I found more than keepsakes. Black and white photos from 1946 showed my grandfather, young and stern, on this very land, surrounded by soldiers. A handwritten note read, "Operation Sentinel, classified." Beneath it, a letter in his precise script. "Daniel, if you're reading this, Vanessa Hartley is making her move. She's after the tungsten deposits under the ridge. Check the painting and the trapdoor under the study. Everything you need is there. Keep the land in Callahan hands." My heart pounded. Tungsten? A hidden trapdoor? This was no ordinary inheritance. The painting came down easily, revealing a faded document, a 1946 federal land grant giving the Callahan family perpetual ownership of 90 acres, including most of Silver Ridge. The box also held geological surveys, military records, and photos of Vanessa meeting shady figures at night, time-stamped months before my grandfather's death. He'd been watching her, building a case. A map marked a hidden bunker under the study, labeled Emergency Access. My grandfather hadn't just left me a cabin, he'd left me a fortress. At 9 a.m., my phone rang. Vanessa's voice was syrupy, but laced with venom. "The sheriff's on his way, Mr. Callahan. I hope you're ready for the consequences." 30 minutes later, Deputy Ethan Carter pulled up, looking like he'd rather be fishing. Vanessa followed in her SUV, tablet in hand, ready to play judge and jury. "Deputy, Mr. Callahan's property is a blight," she declared, gesturing at my fence like it was a crime scene. "And his erratic behavior yesterday raises concerns about his stability." The accusation stung, but I saw my chance. "Deputy Carter," I said, keeping my voice steady, "let me show you something." I led them inside, retrieving 3 items: the painting, the oak box, and a 3D printed model of my property, complete with a laser projector. Vanessa's eyes narrowed, but she stayed silent. I removed the painting's frame, revealing the land grant. "This proves my family owns most of Silver Ridge," I said. Deputy Carter's eyebrows shot up as he studied the seals. I opened the box, spreading out photos of my grandfather and his unit. He was Captain Patrick Callahan, Army Intelligence. This land was a strategic reserve in 1946, and these documents are signed by General Eisenhower. Then I pressed a button on the model. Laser lines lit up the room, mapping my property's boundaries in green and highlighting Silver Ridge's unauthorized developments in red. "This shows 65% of the community was built on my land without permission," I said. "And this," I switched the display to show underground tungsten deposits, "is what Vanessa's really after." Her face drained of color. "That's absurd," she stammered, but Deputy Carter was already taking notes. "These documents look real, ma'am," he said. "This is bigger than an HOA issue." Vanessa's smear campaign hit the next day. The Willow Creek Chronicle ran a story calling me a paranoid recluse waving fake documents. Social media buzzed with her edited videos, painting me as unhinged. But I had the truth in technology. At noon, I went live, streaming the laser model's display. "I'm Daniel Callahan," I said to the camera, "and I'm exposing corruption in Silver Ridge." I showed the land grant, the photos, and the laser map, explaining how Vanessa's HOA was a front to seize my land for its tungsten. Viewers flooded in, comments exploding with support. Then my neighbor, Mrs. Evelyn Wong, joined the stream, clutching a folder. "I've watched Vanessa for years," she said, revealing photos of Vanessa's late-night surveys with mining equipment. "I was a clerk for the DA's office. I know a crook when I see one." She played recordings of Vanessa discussing, removing obstacles, and clearing properties. The stream went viral, but Vanessa called mid-broadcast, her voice icy. "You're making a mistake, Daniel. You don't know who you're messing with." The threat, heard by thousands, only fueled the fire. 3 days later, the FBI arrived. Agent Laura Bennett studied the model, confirming my grandfather's surveys matched their data on illegal tungsten mining. Vanessa's resort was a cover for a multi-million-dollar operation tied to a Ukrainian crime syndicate. Her son, 17-year-old Liam, sealed her fate, arriving with photos of radioactive containers buried near the ridge. "She made me help," he said, trembling. "I couldn't stay silent after your stream." At 3 a.m. one night, motion sensors woke me. 3 SUVs crept up my drive, and Vanessa emerged, barking orders to destroy my evidence. I activated my grandfather's defense's floodlights blazed, and his voice boomed from speakers. "You're trespassing on federal land." The live stream captured it all. Liam, hacking his mother's radio, exposed her plans to eliminate witnesses. Mrs. Wong, a former Army sharpshooter, stepped out with a rifle. "Drop it, Vanessa," she commanded, eyeing the explosive in her hand. Vanessa froze, and FBI agents swarmed in. Vanessa's trial exposed her $20 million operation. She'd poisoned my grandfather, faking his heart attack to silence him. She got 30 years. Liam, emancipated, moved into my guest room, studying environmental science. Mrs. Wong, now a local legend, tended her garden and taught us tactics. The tungsten deposits became a research site, and I was hired as a consultant. Silver Ridge dissolved its HOA, and my grandfather's legacy became the Patrick Callahan Foundation, protecting homeowners nationwide. But questions linger. Who else knew about Vanessa's syndicate? Did she act alone in my grandfather's death? Should Liam have exposed her sooner? Drop a comment, like, and subscribe to join the fight for justice.